Hey everybody, I'm Dina Proctor, author of Madly Chasing Peace and creator of 3x3 Meditation. I want to share with you a process that I learned from Abraham Hicks from this book, actually, Ask and It Is Given. Abraham Hicks is one of my favorite go-tos for insight about something or a process or a new way of looking at something. And this book is great because it gives an overview in the beginning and talks about a lot of different areas. And in the back of the book, they have all of these processes that you can work through and use. And the one I want to talk about today, it's page 217, and it's called segment intending. This process, I have my own little, I guess, spin on it. I think this is different. I may have heard it in a video or something because I want to give them credit for obviously this process I got from them, but the way that I use it is a little bit different. Segment intending, my understanding of it and interpretation of their process is going throughout your day. You could break your day into hundreds of different segments. You could have segment of waking up before you get out of bed. And then there's a new segment of walking to the kitchen and making the coffee. And then there's a new segment of, taking a shower. There's a new segment. So all of these things, a segment is defined by an intention that you hold as you're going throughout this activity. So right now I'm in segment of creating a video, right? And then later on I'll be in segment of making dinner, then segment of eating dinner, then segment of talking on the phone. So there's all these different segments. And the whole purpose of segmenting your life like this is not to drive you crazy. It's actually, and I'll tell you a little bit about that too, because it sounds a little bit crazy to have all these different segments in your day. But the intention behind it, or the way that I use it, is it reminds me to become present and just focus on the activity or the segment that I'm in right now. And so my little trick on being able to do that is using doorways. So every time I cross through a doorway, to me that enters a different segment. When I open my car door and get in, now I'm in a new segment. I'm in a segment of driving to wherever I want to be. And so the way that I can stay present while I'm driving is to remember, just kind of be in the moment and connecting when I'm at the stop sign and I can see nature and birds and a tree or just maybe a little flower blooming out of the sidewalk, just something to connect me and have me feel present in this moment. Maybe I'm headed to the grocery store, but if while I'm driving, all I'm doing is trying to think of what do I have to get and what do I have to buy, and now I got to get out of here on time so I can get somewhere else. When I'm driving, and I can't be anywhere other than where I am in this moment. And so if I can prepare myself with lists and that sort of thing ahead of time so I don't have to spend my driving time doing other things, driving can be a time where it's a segment where I can practice being present because I prepared myself to be able to do that. Now, that's just one example. So there's another segment of when I get to my destination, say the grocery store, getting out and walking to that front door. So the door of the grocery store may be, a few second walk or a 1 minute walk, something like that. So that's a new segment because you're going from car door to store door, right? So in that moment, okay, just to take a grounding breath. And again, it's not to make you crazy. It's just to say, all I need to focus on right now is my steps that my body is taking to get from this car to that door, period. Or if you want to just say, like, I take a deep breath and ground myself as I walk, something like that, just to kind of, and then when you're in the segment inside the store, you're in the segment of shopping, or if you're headed to work, you're in the segment of work. But again, even if you're at work, if you have an 8-hour work day, you go through different doorways to meet with different people or to get different things. And so each time that you go through a doorway, it's just a little trigger reminder of like, I ground myself in being present in what I'm doing right now. And so, kind of looking at your hands. What are my hands doing right now? I know it sounds oversimplified, but sometimes when I just feel the craziness of the day, it helps me to just look like, where are my hands right now? Where are my feet right now? I'm putting my mind and my focus and my attention on where I physically am. So I'm not thinking about all of these other things. That's just kind of a crazy making, going on. So it's just a little way, the segment intending is a little way and a powerful process to help you or help me. It helps me a lot to become present and remind myself that I'm not just in this blur of a life. I'm in these different segments where I can renew my intention to focus and to bring presence and a really good energy to wherever I'm going to next. Now, if you start with this kind of with the doorway thing, it'll kind of make you crazy because in your own house, you have so many doorways. And then you're kind of like, wait, is a doorway between the kitchen and the dining room? Is that a doorway? What if I ran a plate out and I have to run back? Is that a new? Don't make yourself nuts over it. And at first, you may only notice 3 or 4 doorways, even though you're going through a million of them every day. You may only notice 2 or 3 of them, but that's okay because you did notice a couple of them and you brought yourself into being just open, just present in what you're doing. And it's not a trying hard thing. It is absolutely not a trying hard thing. It is more like a, let me just kind of be present where I am right now. Let me just take a breath and be where I am right now. Be present in the activity that I'm doing right now. So it's a relaxation thing, not something else to put on your to-do list to make you crazy. Now I have to count my doorways. It's not that. It's just, for me, the doorway as I walk through is just a reminder to bring that presence to whatever I'm doing. And so it's, don't make yourself wrong if you're going through, doorways and you forget about them and you get through the whole day and you walk through 483 doorways and you only remembered one of them. That's great because you got one of them. It's powerful. Even if you do this sporadically a couple times a day, it will still be powerful for you because that's where the brain training happens. That's where the transformation happens, is in the small little habits that we have throughout the day. Like, I've used this analogy before about termites, right? Eating the foundation of a home or the, structure of a house. They are so teeny tiny and they can take down a whole big structure just being these teeny tiny beings, but there's so many of them and each one does their tiny little job. It can take down the whole thing. And that's what our negative thoughts can do, take down a whole thing, but that's also what these little tiny things of positive thoughts can do in the opposite way. So as we have these little tiny moments of being positive, it is enough. It is good enough. It is working, putting us in the right direction. So many times we think, oh, that's not enough. I can't just do that. Yeah, you can. You can, and you can notice the difference. Like my big transformation, 3 minutes a few times a day of just trying to meditate. I can't even say I was actually meditating for a lot of that time, So, and that's all that I was doing. That was the whole thing. I wasn't intending for anything. So I like to remind people of that because so many times we think it's about trying hard and we think it's about, oh, I just don't get it yet. It's not. It's because we are trying too hard that a lot of times we're blocked from what we want to create and have happen in our lives. So I hope that this has been helpful for you. Again, the book that I'm talking about, Ask and It Is Given, Abraham Hicks, amazing resource if you haven't heard of them or watched any of their videos or read any of their books. So anyway, hope this was helpful for you. Thank you as always for sharing this space with me, and stay tuned. I'm sure I'll have more for you again soon.